Welcome to the first episode of Southern Weird and Wild. Tonight we hear from Jennifer as she shares her eyewitness account from when she saw her first Bigfoot growing up on her family's farm in East Texas. We plan to bring you lots more stories of the weird and wild in the South. So come on, y'all. Subscribe, like, and comment, but be respectful. We know there are non-believers out there, and that's why we are bringing you these stories. So sit back, relax, and let's hear Jennifer's story.
Well, my name is Jennifer, and I'm coming to you from my cozy little homestead right here on 30 acres of pure East Texas magic in Big Sandy. Picture this: tall pine trees swaying in the breeze, the kind that whisper secrets when the wind picks up. Open fields stretch out like a patchwork quilt, dotted with wildflowers in the spring and crunchy leaves in the fall. We've got a creek running through the back that sings a little song after a good rain, and at night, the stars pop out so bright you feel like you could reach up and pluck one right out of the sky. This land's been in my family for generations, and let me tell you, it's full of stories, some sweet, some strange, and a few that'll make the hairs on your arms stand straight up. I've always been a simple country gal. Grew up helping with the chores, feeding the chickens, tending the garden, milking the cows before school. No fancy gadgets or city lights, just the rhythm of the seasons and the comfort of knowing your neighbors like family. And that's exactly what leads me into the tale I'm sharing today. It's one that's stuck with me all these years, like a burr on your sock after a walk in the woods. This happened way back when I was just a slip of a girl, maybe 12 or 13 years old, in the late 80s. We were living on my family's old farm, not too far from where I am now. It was wintertime, and folks, we don't get much snow down here in Texas. But that year, oh mercy, Mother Nature decided to surprise us with a real doozy of a storm. It started the night before, dark clouds rolling in like an uninvited guest, bringing with them a cold that seeped right into your bones. By morning, the world outside our kitchen window was transformed. A thick blanket of snow, at least a foot deep, covered everything. The old oak trees in the yard looked like they'd been dusted with powdered sugar, their branches heavy and sagging under the weight. The air was crisp and still, so quiet you could hear your own heartbeat. No birds chirping, no cars rumbling down the road, just that muffled hush that snow brings, like the earth's taking a deep breath. I remember stepping out on the porch that morning, my breath fogging up in little clouds, and feeling the icy bite on my cheeks. The snow sparkled under the weak winter sun, crunching under my boots like fresh gravel. Schools were shut down, of course. Roads were too slick for the buses. And we were all hunkered in, stoking the wood stove to keep warm. The smell of Mama's biscuits baking in the oven mixed with the smoky scent of pine logs crackling in the fire. It was peaceful, almost magical, but there was worry in the air too. My mama, bless her heart, was always the one looking out for folks. She got real concerned about our neighbor, Ms. Morris. Now, Ms. Morris was a sweet old widow lady, probably in her 70s, living all by her lonesome in a tiny clapboard house about half a mile down our dirt road. No kids nearby, no husband anymore. He'd passed years before. And back then, she didn't even have a telephone to call for help. With the storm, Mama fretted she might be low on firewood or food, or worse, slipped on the ice trying to fetch something. "Jennifer, honey," Mama said, her voice firm but kind as she wrapped me in Daddy's old wool scarf. "You bundle up good and tight and walk on over there to check on Ms. Morris. Take her some of these biscuits and jam. Make sure she's got heat and ain't hurt herself." I didn't argue. Truth be told, I was excited. At that age, a snow day felt like an adventure, and helping out made me feel grown up. So I layered up. My thickest coat that smelled faintly of hay from the barn, mittens knitted by Grandma, and boots that were a tad too big, but kept my feet dry. I grabbed a basket with those warm biscuits, steam still rising off 'em, and a flashlight, just in case the clouds rolled back in. Stepping out the door, the cold hit me like a slap, but I trudged on. The snow was powdery on top, but packed firm underneath, making that satisfying crunch with every step. My nose tingled from the frosty air, carrying the clean, almost metallic scent of winter. The path to Ms. Morris's was familiar. An old dirt trail lined with bare pecan trees and fences sagging under the snow's weight. Flurries danced around me like tiny fairies, sticking to my eyelashes and melting on my tongue when I stuck it out to catch them. It was beautiful, y'all, pure and untouched. But as I walked farther from home, a loneliness crept in. No sounds but my boots and my breathing, heavy and rhythmic. About halfway there, that's when it started. That uneasy feeling, like pins and needles on the back of my neck. You know the one, where your skin prickles and your stomach does a little flip. At first, I chalked it up to the cold, or my imagination running wild from too many ghost stories around the campfire. But it grew stronger, like invisible eyes boring into me. I glanced over my shoulder once or twice, seeing nothing but snow-covered fields and the dark line of woods in the distance. My heart picked up pace, thumping against my ribs like a drum. The wind whispered through the branches, carrying a faint, earthy smell, like wet fur or moss after rain. I quickened my steps, the basket swinging in my grip, but the feeling wouldn't shake. Finally, I couldn't stand it no more. I stopped dead in my tracks, the snow muffling even that, and turned around real slow, my breath catching in my throat. And there. Oh Lord, there he was, standing just at the edge of the tree line, no more than 30 yards away, was the biggest creature I'd ever laid eyes on. He towered over the saplings, 8 or 9 feet tall, easy, with shoulders broader than our barn door. His body was covered in thick, shaggy hair, dark brown or black, matted with snowflakes that clung to it like frost on a windowpane. Long arms dangled down past his knees, fingers thick and knobby, ending in what looked like claws but weren't. Not sharp, just powerful. His chest heaved slow and steady, steam rising from his nostrils in the cold air. But it was his face that haunts me still, broad and flat, with a heavy brow and deep-set eyes that gleamed in the dim light, reflecting my flashlight beam like a deer's at night. Those eyes weren't animal dumb. They were smart, curious, almost human-like, watching me with an intensity that made my blood run cold. No aggression, no growl or charge, just standing there, still as a statue, the snow falling softly around him. The air smelled stronger now, musky and wild, like a bear's den mixed with pine sap. Time stretched like taffy. I stood frozen, my mittens clenched tight, heart pounding so loud I swore he could hear it. Then panic crashed over me like a wave. I dropped the basket and flashlight, biscuits tumbling into the snow, and bolted. My boots slipped on the ice, sending me sprawling once, snow stuffing up my sleeves and chilling my skin. I scrambled up, lungs burning from the cold air, tears freezing on my cheeks. I ran all the way home, bursting through the back door with a sob. Mama rushed over, her apron dusted with flour, pulling me into her warm embrace that smelled of vanilla and home. "What happened, baby? You hurt?" she asked, wiping my face. Between gasps, I blurted it out. "There's something out there, Mama, big and hairy, watching me." Daddy came in from the barn, his boots tracking snow, and they exchanged looks. They thought maybe I'd seen a bear or my mind was playing tricks in the storm. But I knew what I'd seen. Ms. Morris turned out fine. Daddy hitched up the tractor later and checked on her himself. But that day marked me. Over the years, I started piecing together that it wasn't a one-time thing. There were other signs, subtle at first, but once you notice them, you can't unsee. Like the tree knocks. I'd be out gathering eggs at dusk, the sky turning purple and orange when I'd hear it. A deep, resonant thump, 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 like someone banging a heavy log against a tree trunk. Not random, deliberate, with pauses, and sometimes an answering knock from deeper in the woods. It echoes through the pines, vibrating in your chest, making the birds go quiet. Folks say it's Bigfoot communicating, letting kin know where they are or warning off intruders. I've heard 'em more in the fall, when the air's crisp with fallen leaves and the scent of decaying foliage. Then there's the whoops. Lord, those'll raise the goosebumps. low and guttural at first, rise into a high-pitched wail that cuts through the night like a siren. Not like a coyote's yip or an owl's hoot. These are primal, almost mournful. I'd hear 'em on foggy mornings, when the mist hangs low over the creek, turning the world ghostly. They'd start from one side of the property, then another would reply from the opposite direction, like they're circling or calling to each other. Makes you feel small, exposed. But after a while, I got used to it. Now, I just sit on the porch swing, creaking gently, sipping my coffee as the steam rises, and listen. It's like they're part of the symphony of these woods. And the gifting, that's the part that touches my heart the most. It's like they're trying to connect in their own shy way. I'd find little offerings left in plain sight. A smooth, shiny river rock on the fence post, glinting in the sun. A perfect eagle feather tucked into the barn door. Once, a cluster of wild berries piled neatly on a stump, still dewy and sweet-smelling. Never saw who left 'em. Just wake up to 'em. No footprints usually, 'cause the ground's often soft or leafy, but sometimes I'd spot a big, broad impression in the mud, longer than my daddy's boot. I reckon it's their way of saying thanks for sharing the land, or maybe just acknowledging we're here together. I've left things back, apples, a button, and sure enough, they'd be gone by morning, replaced with something new. Even now, all these years later, those signs keep coming. The knocks echo on crisp autumn evenings, the whoops pierce the dawn mist, and the gifts appear like little surprises from an old friend. Living out here on my 30 acres, I've come to respect it. Bigfoot, or Sasquatch, or whatever name you give him, ain't a monster. He's a guardian of these woods, older than the farms and roads we built. That snowy day, he was just watching over a curious girl, maybe making sure I got where I was going safe. It scares you at first, but then it humbles you, teaches you that the world's bigger and wilder than we know. If you're out in the East Texas pines and feel that prickle, hear a knock, or find an unexpected treasure, well, don't run screaming. Smile, nod, and keep on. He might just be saying hello.
Well, thanks for joining us for episode 1 of Southern Weird and Wild. I know I enjoyed hearing Jennifer's story and hope you did too. Please subscribe and turn on your notifications so you can catch our second episode coming soon. Later, Gators.